Now, if you take your hand and you bring it behind your back, and you elevate the thumb, so the thumb is kind of lifted up, and you place the base of the back of the palm kind of on your lower back. Your thumb is normally going to land at L1, typically. You just kind of land it like this. Normally your thumb will land around L1, okay? So I want you to feel the length of your lumbar spine from your sacrum all the way up to L1. Once you've put your thumb there for a little bit, you're welcome to move it. You're welcome to take it off again. You can give it a little scratch if you want to just kind of isolate and get a sense of what that is in your body. And then breathe into your whole lumbar spine. And what I want you to do is I want you to lift up as you breathe in and relax as you breathe out. Lifting up as you breathe in, I want you to lift those vertebrae up off of each other so that they lift, they elevate. Now each of your lumbar vertebrae has a transverse process. That's the little sticky outy bit that sticks out to the sides. Now I want you to lift up your lumbar vertebrae as you breathe in, relax as you breathe out, so that you separate the vertebrae from each other and you create more space between the transverse processes of your lumbar vertebrae. Just breathe into those sides, those wings of your lumbar vertebrae. This is your kidney chi right here. This is actually your chi reservoir, or one of your main chi reservoirs in your body, is these side aspects. The quadratus lumborum muscles are running above this whole structure, and the 7 interlayering aspects of the muscles around the spine are sort of interweaving around the spine itself. But this space between the transverse processes out to the sides a couple of inches from your lumbar spine. This is where you're storing your chi. Or not, depending on your body, depending on what you've got going. But chi storage varies a great deal from one human being to another. Something the Chinese noticed and made good use of. All right? You know, there was this Icelandic fisherman who fell in the water and swam in completely iced, absolutely icy waters that would normally kill somebody in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And he swam for 5 hours, then he walked for 15 miles to find a hut off the coast of Iceland. That's a body with a lot of chi, right? The chi storage in the body varies tremendously from person to person. Realistically, you want to get a lot of chi into your body and store it, because that's useful. That'll protect you. So you're opening this chi storage area right now. You're pulsing into it, elongating your lumbar spine, opening the sides of the spinal vertebrae. Now let's come up to the top of the lumbar spine. Let's come up to L1. So you might be able to feel L1 by twisting, and where you can feel where that last set of ribs, the 11th and 12th rib kind of dig in a little bit as you twist. And that's another way to isolate L1. Now at L1, I want you to be present to your adrenal glands and fire energy. Fight or flight is a fiery energy. Digestion is a fiery energy. Metabolism is a fiery energy. Breathe into and request the healing force of fire to come into that region of your back, which you can feel when you twist. You can feel the last 2 or 3 ribs connecting in. And then just a little below it, there's your L1. T12 and L1 are both a fiery energy. Request the healing force of fire to descend through your lumbar spine. And now we're going to go to L2. Now to find L2, arch your lower back and feel where it arches upwards. Where is that lifting up? That's your kidney chi. That's the rising up of your kidney chi. Now into this arch, I want you to breathe water like a wave, like a giant wave. But this is water that is warming up. It's bringing the fire from above into it, and it's warming. And so as you pulse your back, you arch your lower back and then let the arch go. It's like waves. It's like warm waves washing through you. And it should wash through your kidneys, the bottom of your kidneys, wash through your body, wash through to the region around your navel, which is also a water zone. CV9, CV6, it's all water. Kidney 16. I want you to feel water, but I want you to feel warm water. This is fire-infused water. This is the good stuff. Now we're going to bring the mind down to L3. Now L3 you could locate by finding that little fat pad on the sides of your body between your hips and your ribs, and just follow that fat pad around a little bit. You're pretty much going to land at L3 typically. And you can also rotate your lumbar spine. And where it comes in, normally as you rotate it inwards, as you get that little belly dancing kind of inward rotation, that's generally going to be L3. Now we're going to work with L3 for a minute with the feeling of earth soaking up water. So this is earth energy that is nourished, that is moistened and warmed and nourished and brought to life. And feel that ring of energy. This is the daimai, the belt channel, that runs all the way around your back, all the way through between your hips and your ribs, all the way through your navel region. It runs around a little bit below your navel. Now breathe into that, the yellow golden earth energy color. Request the healing force of earth. The spherical expansion of your flesh in your belly is an expression of that earth energy. This is earth. So feel that connection of your belly going back into your L3 region. Request the healing golden, yellow, orange earth energy force to fill up your belly, to fill up around your waist, fill up into L3. Now we're going to continue the journey downwards to L4. Okay? So to find L4, you could just dig your fingers in a little bit to the side of your hips, to the bone. Feel where the bone is, right on the side of your hip, and then just reach across. If you can do a straight line, that's normally going to land you at your L4. Right? L4 is not that easy to feel until you've got your fingers on it and you start moving it around a little bit. So keep your fingers there or dig into it till you've got it quite activated. Now start breathing into your L4 zone. And to really activate L4, you want to move your pelvis, because L4 is the wood energy. It's the life force pulsatile energy. It's connected to the pulsations of the genitals. It's connected to the pulsations of the uterus and the prostate gland. It likes movement. It likes pulsation, right? And it's very often frozen up in people. So you want to get a nice pulsatile kind of movement there. And now let's breathe the green force into L4. So this is coming out of that moistened, warmed earth, the living green force, the sprouts sprouting up. And breathe that green energy through to your prostate or through to your uterus. Breathe it into the lower part of your belly. Breathe it into the flat region, a couple of inches beneath your navel, where the yang energy gets stored. Breathe green energy right through there. Feel that root of your strength. This is where you're going to pull on your resources if you ever need to. You're going to suck them from that area. This is in many ways what people call the lower Dan Tien. That's why in some traditions the lower Dan Tien is seen as pine green, because it's pulling from that life force energy that connects to L4. Now let's drop our consciousness down to L5, but let's stand up. We're almost done. We're going to drop back down into L5, and really for the L4 and L5, you've been sitting for a while. We're going to get a little bit of suckering. Now if you want, you can bend your knees, that's okay. We're not going to do the first Qigong that we did this morning, but just get a little bit of motion in there. Now the shift from the green force energy to the metallic energy, the crystalline energy, and the air energy is quite a shift. It's like the shift moving from the canopy of a tree to the mist and the air that the forests attract and draw to them from the ocean, and to the oxygen that they produce. It's also like the way that the roots of a tree reach down and start to draw in minerals. Now, the energetics of the spine work such that the tailbone and the sacrum and L5 all correspond largely to metal energy. Largely. We can differentiate elements in the sacrum, but largely they're structural and they're metal. So the idea, the feeling here is that you're drawing from the ground, you're drawing from your legs, which are your roots, you're drawing the crystallization force, the mineralization force, the foundational structuring force up into your L5, where it becomes actually mobile, which is quite remarkable, really. You know, the human being is a lot more similar to a plant than a tree. Hang on, I said that wrong. It's a lot more similar to a plant or a tree than an animal. I definitely said that. And this is something that's been noticed by the shamanic traditions from Central America, where they would talk about how humans' energy bodies look more like plants than they look like animals. And this is because of our verticality. So it's actually a very remarkable process, human verticality, and L5 is a key component where we move from the more static rooted force up into something that really starts to take on mobility. That's a very interesting alchemical shift right there. Part of the reason why that whole area is challenging, oftentimes. Okay. Good. So we've kind of gone over the sacrum and the lumbar spine, and tomorrow we're going to go through the thoracic spine and the cervical spine. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I want to start at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and so please be here approximately on time. You know, it's never exact, but that's the plan. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Well, tomorrow I'll bring the forms. If you need CEUs, then I'll bring all the forms for you to fill out tomorrow. I should have had them today, but I forgot them. Okay?